wanted to read this email before we go to David Dayan. On Friday, Judy Gold was on. She is hilarious, but also sometimes a little bit, there's a certain amount of hyperbole. I don't know if that. She's very engaged. And not just Judy, but also I were, well, let me read the email and you'll see it. You skipped the important part of my I am today, which was frustrating. It was, and thanks for taking shots at the mentally ill in an attempt to delegitimize Trump. His problem is he's a bigot emboldened by our systems, not potential mental illness. Those kinds of comments are exactly what makes everyday life for mentally ill people, the vast majority of whom are more likely to be victims of oppression and exploitation rather than perpetrators, so effing hard. Stop normalizing this bigoted angle of attack while you act like you fight for us. And he said that Judy and I kept bringing it back to how Trump is mentally ill and so unfit to lead. All right, look, I can appreciate, and I do appreciate having a better this person pointing out to me and giving me a better sense of where we should be sensitive about this stuff. I obviously am not in a position to give an analysis of whether or not Donald Trump is or is not mentally ill. And certainly, systemically, there are big problems. And of course, he is a huge bigot. I think from, not even from a colloquial standpoint, I do think there's, that he has a mental illness. I think it's probably untreated because of the nature of who the guy is. And I think his job is impaired by it. As we have, I don't think he has the ability to empathize with people. He's sitting in Puerto Rico and there's huge amounts of suffering and he's focusing on how happy the people in this little room while he's handing out paper towels are. And I think there's something really genuinely wrong with him. And I don't, maybe, calling him crazy or saying it's mentally ill is not the proper way to articulate that, but I do think it's not just his bigotry. I think it's easier for him to dismiss the interests of people who are not white because there doesn't seem to be anybody around him say like, oh, no, you got to remember these people are people too. I think he just, they didn't vote for me. And I think that's beyond bigotry. I don't know how to express that in a more sensitive way, but I will work on it. And if people have suggestions, email us at majorityreporters@gmail.com or I am during the fun half of the show. But it is, I understand it's, and we certainly don't mean to do that, to marginalize people, and that is obviously not what we want to do. And so we'll attempt to be more sensitive about that and figure out a way of discussing it in a better way. Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos